There are moments when time breaks its own rules. Moments when what should have taken years happens in days. Not because you pushed harder, but because something greater intervened. You didn't skip the process. You stepped into a higher law, and in that place, delay no longer defines you. Divine acceleration does. God is not limited by time. Time is a tool, not a master. And when the Spirit aligns with truth, time must yield. Joseph Murphy taught that your subconscious mind does not understand delay. It understands belief. When belief is absolute and connected to a divine truth, time compresses. What once moved slowly begins to move rapidly because it is no longer chained to fear, doubt, or resistance. You may look back on your life and see wasted years, missed chances, doors that never opened. And yet, there is a moment when heaven moves so swiftly, it seems as if those years never happened. Not erased, but redeemed. God doesn't just restore what was lost. He accelerates what was delayed. And that acceleration feels sudden, but it's not. It's the natural response of spiritual order being re-established. In the unseen realm, nothing is truly lost. Opportunities, favor, connection, provision, they don't vanish. They wait. They wait for your frequency to rise, for your inner agreement to change, for your words to align with divine reality. And when that happens, the shift is not gradual, it's instant. What was out of reach suddenly becomes unavoidable. This is the mystery of divine timing. It's not random, it's responsive. And when you align with it, you don't have to chase what you lost. It starts chasing you. The right people, the right place, the right moment, all collide at once. Not because you earned it, but because you were finally aligned with it. That's when time bows to spirit, and the delay is over. What looks like delay is often divine precision. You think you've been waiting, but what's really happening is alignment. Life isn't holding you back, it's positioning you. The things you asked for weren't denied. They were deferred until your inner state could hold them. The blessing was ready. But were you? If this resonates with you, stay connected, subscribe, and walk deeper into this truth. Joseph Murphy taught that your subconscious can only accept and manifest what matches your dominant mental image. If your inner world carries fear, lack, or unworthiness, then even answered prayers remain stuck at the door. Delay is not punishment, it's protection. It holds space until your vibration matches the miracle you've requested. The universe is governed by law, not luck, and spiritual timing is one of those laws. What you want and what you're ready for are often not the same. But the moment your belief shifts, the moment your mental blueprint upgrades, everything begins to move fast. Because what's delayed is not destroyed. It's being prepared for immediate release the moment alignment is achieved. This is why your spiritual atmosphere matters more than your physical circumstances. If you carry the frequency of lack, you'll attract more waiting. But if you begin to speak, think, and feel from a place of already having received, you trigger a chain reaction. Life starts to catch up with your inner reality. And what seemed far suddenly becomes now. So the next time you feel forgotten, remember, timing is a servant of truth, not a barrier, not a wall. When you're in sync with divine intention, you don't have to force anything. You simply receive. Because the delay was never a no. It was a just wait until you're ready for more than you thought possible. There's a truth your natural eyes can't see. Nothing is ever truly lost in the spiritual realm. Missed years, abandoned dreams, closed doors, they don't disappear. They are stored, held in suspension, waiting for the moment when you're aligned enough to receive them, not as recovery, but as overflow. Joseph Murphy often taught that the subconscious mind retains impressions and holds patterns until they find expression. The same principle applies to spiritual experiences. The things you feel you've lost were recorded. The energy, the desire, the intention, they were preserved in the field of divine intelligence. Not to punish you with memory, but to deliver you at the perfect time. Delay does not erase your seed. Everything you've prayed, declared, visualized, and felt in faith has been building pressure, like water behind a dam. What you thought was loss was accumulation. What you thought had ended was simply being hidden for a greater emergence. You didn't fail. The harvest was just waiting for clearance. And clearance doesn't come through effort. It comes through surrender. The moment you stop obsessing over what didn't happen and begin aligning with the energy of what's already been prepared, you unlock the gate. And what comes pouring through is not compensation, it's compressed power. It's years of delayed progress delivered in moments. You don't need to chase what you lost. You need to become who can receive it now. That's the shift. That's the return. When the frequency of your inner world matches the vibration of what's stored for you, there's no force in the universe that can stop the release. And when it comes, it won't feel like restoration. It will feel like resurrection. There are moments in life where what should have taken 10 years unfolds in 10 days. It's not coincidence. It's not luck. It's compression. A divine recalibration of events where heaven overrides the rules of time. In those moments, you don't just move forward, you leap. Because when God compresses time, He doesn't make up for what you lost. He exceeds it. Joseph Murphy wrote that when the subconscious mind is saturated with a clear and consistent image, combined with emotion and faith, it sets into motion a chain of outcomes that bypass logic. This is acceleration. Not forced by willpower, but activated by alignment. When your vibration resonates with divine truth, delay collapses. Opportunity moves faster. And what was blocked begins to break open. In this state, time no longer governs you. It becomes your servant. The right people appear. Doors that were rusted shut swing wide. Momentum picks up without explanation. Because now, you're not pushing against time. You're moving through divine current. It feels like a miracle, but it's law. Spiritual law. These moments cannot be manufactured, but they can be prepared for. When your thoughts, emotions, and expectations are tuned to God's frequency, you become a magnet for timing miracles. You stop asking when and start expecting now. And that expectation draws into your life not just answers, but acceleration. God doesn't need decades to fix what was broken. He needs one moment of surrender, one decision of faith, one alignment of belief. And when that moment comes, years collapse into minutes. Striving gives way to flow, and the version of you that waited becomes the version that walks, quickly, fully, and finally, into everything that once seemed so far away. The subconscious mind is not a passive listener. It is the architect of your experience. What it accepts as truth, it builds into reality. And here lies the key. Acceleration is not triggered by force, but by alignment. When your inner world becomes consistent with your desired outcome, the subconscious stops delaying and starts delivering. Joseph Murphy believed that the subconscious functions like fertile soil. Whatever is planted repeatedly, especially with emotion, begins to grow. But many people unknowingly plant delay. They affirm belief on the surface while holding doubt deep inside. They speak of breakthroughs, yet expect postponement. And so, time stretches. Answers seem slow. Not because God is distant, but because the subconscious is confused. But when inner conflict ends, When the image of your mind, the language of your mouth, and the emotion of your heart all say the same thing, something shifts. The subconscious stops questioning and begins executing, and what used to take months begins to unfold without warning. Paths open, people appear, resistance fades. Acceleration, then, is not a gift for the few. It's the result of mental congruence. When your belief is no longer partial, the delay has no foundation to stand on. The subconscious, fully convinced, becomes unstoppable. It draws in opportunities with magnetic force, orchestrates connections, and rearranges events in your favor. You don't have to beg for your life to move faster. You have to believe differently. Not louder, but deeper. The moment your inner world holds no contradiction, the outside world loses its hesitation. And what you once waited for begins rushing toward you. Because now, your subconscious is not filtering the promise. It's fulfilling it. Faith is more than conviction. It's vibration. It's not just what you believe, it's the energetic frequency your belief emits. And in a universe governed by spiritual law, vibration is currency. What you truly believe, you broadcast. And what you broadcast, you attract. Not eventually, but instantly. When the vibration is pure, Joseph Murphy understood this deeply. He taught that your mind sends out energy, and this energy draws back experiences that match it. When your faith is filled with doubt, confusion, or desperation, your vibration becomes scattered. But when your faith is anchored, certain, calm, it becomes magnetic. Not just spiritually, but materially. Because the universe doesn't respond to your voice, it responds to your resonance. This is why some people see sudden breakthroughs after years of nothing. It's not luck, it's not random, it's alignment. At some point, their internal atmosphere shifted. They stopped pleading and started knowing. They stopped waiting and started vibrating at the level of the promise. And once the inner frequency matched the reality they desired, time sped up. Reality had to respond. You can't fake this frequency. You can't say the right words, but vibrate in fear and expect acceleration. The vibration of faith is peaceful, confident, expectant. It's not loud, it's aligned. And when your emotions, thoughts, and expectations all sing the same tone, you enter a spiritual harmony that time cannot resist. You weren't designed to live on delay. You were built to move with divine momentum. And that movement begins not outside you, but inside. Tune your belief, not just to what is true, but to what is finished. Let your vibration echo with the certainty that God is not preparing to act. He already has. And now, everything is simply catching up with your frequency. Your life follows the pictures you hold in your mind, not the ones you glimpse briefly, but the ones you return to in silence, the ones you feel as real before they ever show up. Joseph Murphy didn't treat imagination as fantasy. He called it the workshop of God, a sacred tool, a mirror that shapes matter, because the subconscious doesn't know the difference between memory and imagination. It responds equally to both. When you repeatedly imagine yourself whole, advanced, restored, accelerated, your inner world begins to shift. That image takes root, and the subconscious, unable to resist a consistent command, begins rearranging outer events to match that vision. The image becomes instruction, and that instruction becomes manifestation. But here's the mystery. The clearer the image, the faster the response. Reality bends not to vague desire, but to specific vision. Your subconscious needs clarity. It needs detail, emotion, repetition. When you see it clearly and feel it fully, you open the door to destiny. That's not metaphor. That's spiritual law. This is why so many remain stuck. They wait for signs instead of sending them. They expect change before embodying it. But destiny doesn't arrive, it's drawn. And imagery is the magnet. The more you align your internal movie with the life you're called to live, the less resistance the external world offers. Time collapses. Things shift. Acceleration begins. So pause and ask, what image has your mind been projecting? Is it survival or advancement? Waiting or walking? Scarcity or divine overflow? Because whatever picture you hold most consistently is the one your future will obey. And if that picture is fueled by faith, not fear, it won't take years to unfold. It will find you soon, because it's already been waiting. It won't make sense when it happens. After years of stillness, the shift will come in silence. No warning, no pattern, just a moment, a phone call, a message, a decision, and everything changes, not slowly, not in parts, but all at once. Because when divine acceleration arrives, it doesn't move through logic. It moves through alignment. You'll try to explain it, but you won't be able to. Doors that were shut for decades will fly open. People you thought had forgotten you will reach out. Delayed promises will appear without effort. It will feel surreal, but it will be real. Because what God restores, He multiplies. What He delays, He delivers in overflow. Joseph Murphy's legacy was built on this truth. Your reality is molded by belief. And when your belief becomes unshakable, when your image is clear, your vibration steady, your words in harmony, your life stops waiting and starts moving. Suddenly is not random. It's prepared. It's the reward of inner agreement. You've been forming it all along. Through your prayers, through your declarations, through your surrender, through every choice to believe, even when nothing looked like it was changing. And now, the accumulation becomes acceleration. The pressure behind the wall becomes breakthrough. What was invisible becomes undeniable. So don't be surprised when it happens. Don't flinch when the momentum picks up. This is what you were made for. Not a slow return, but a rapid release. Not compensation, but compression. When God moves, He doesn't need time. He needs agreement. And because you've agreed, time is no longer the ruler. Grace is. And grace knows no delay.